Hi everyone, welcome to the Pace Studio in Midtown Manhattan. We are here today with SYML, the project of Brian Fennell. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much for coming in.
Yeah.
You've got a new EP out. It's called Hurt For Me.
Yes.
And you actually released kind of an EP of alternate versions of Where's My Love, which was the track on that EP a few months ago, and you're going to play some of those songs for us today.
Yes.
Cool. So tell us about the first one.
Okay, so the first song is called Fear of the Water, and we recently released, everything's pretty recently.
Yeah, it's all relative.
Released a music video that a good friend of mine in Seattle directed, and had these two amazing dancers from California sort of interpret whole takes of this song in a few different sort of beautiful settings around Seattle where I'm from. And so it's usually on piano, but it's also fun to play on guitar, so that'll be the first song. Some ancient call that I've answered before. It lives in my walls, and it's under the floor. If this was meant for me, why does it hurt so much? If you're not made for me, why did we fall in love? Ooh. Ooh. A knock at my door. I thought I was alone, unaware of what I thought I needed. I dropped like a stone. If I'm not mistaken, then I was the last to know. And if you return for me, I'd never want for more. You're dislocated, don't be like that. See you smile when you dive in, like you're never coming back. So hold my body, yeah, hold my breath. See your face when I black out, I'm never coming back. Dislocated, don't be like that. See you smile when you dive in, like you're never coming back. So hold my body, yeah, hold my breath. See your face when I black out, I'm never coming back. So dislocated, and don't be like that. See you smile when you dive in, like you're never coming back. So hold my body, yeah, hold my breath. see your face when I black out. I'm never coming back.
Thank you.
That was so beautiful.
Thank you.
So you were also the singer, the frontman for the band Barcelona.
Yes.
These are decidedly not Barcelona songs.
Agree. You know what's funny though is that this project sort of like by chance sort of started out of what were possibly going to be Barcelona songs. So like the last song I'll play and another song called The War, like we're kind of like I wrote them as Barcelona was sort of evolving and changing musically, and they kind of got backburnered a little bit until my wife was like, hey, you should record those, and then like all of a sudden like it became a project on its own. So yeah.
So what do you think differentiated these songs from like full band work?
Yeah, well, okay, so like the name SYML means simple in Welsh, and when I picked that name, it was a bit of like a reminder, like to kind of always try to maintain a level of simplicity musically, lyrically, like, and just sort of in general in life. And yeah, I think not that Barcelona's music wasn't simple or anything, but it was a lot easier and more natural feeling to just keep it really simple on piano or guitar and really limited sort of production. It's actually more of a challenge I like learned was because it's easy to like throw stuff at a song and maybe hide behind that a little bit as an artist. So it's like I really enjoy feeling that sort of like open and raw though. It's pretty great.
Cool. Well, tell us about the next song.
Yeah, so the next song is a cover.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so this company that I have loved working with over the past few years in LA was like, hey, this TV show needs a version of Mr. Sandman. And legit, when they asked me, I was like, oh yeah, Enter Sandman. Like, that's cool. I'll do a version of that. Slow it down a bit. But they're like, no, Mr. Sandman, like the 50s sort of like barbershop-y Back to the Future song.
You should do a mashup of the two.
Oh my gosh. You should manage me. So yeah, I sat down and was like, okay, how am I, but they needed it to be creepy. So I was like, man, you've really come to the right place because I can try to make this as creepy as possible. So flipped it on its head a little bit. And after I was done, I was like, oh my gosh, I really like this. And so yeah, so I'll play it now. Mr. Sandman, bring me a tree. Make her the cutest that I've ever seen. Give her 2 lips like roses and clover, and tell her that her lonely nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone. Don't have nobody to call my own. So please turn on your magic beat. Mr. Sandman, bring me a tree. Mr. Sandman, bring me a tree. Make her the cutest that I've ever seen. Give her the word that I'm not a rover, and tell her that her lonely nights are over. Ooh, Sandman, I'm so alone. Don't have nobody to call my own. So
So please turn on your magic beam, Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Oh, Sandman, bring me a dream. Make her the cutest that I've ever seen. Give her 2 lips like roses and clover, and tell her that her lonely night's over. Oh, Sandman, I'm so alone, don't have nobody to call my own. So please turn on your magic beam, Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Hey, ha, 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 hey. Mr. Sandman, bring me a tree. Make her the cutest that I've ever seen. Give her 2 lips like roses and clover, and tell her that her lonely nights are over.
Thank you very much.
Well, late October is naturally the time to revisit songs that are particularly creepy.
Agree.
So, yeah.
Yeah, 'tis the season.
So I read. I mean, it's not just something I read. It is public knowledge now.
It is known.
It is known. It is publicized that you are actually adopted, and that that Welsh connection is something that you've been exploring lately.
Yeah.
But it seems like adoption is still kind of like a taboo topic in weird kind of ways. And so I was wondering what you thought about that, and also why decide to talk about it these days.
Well, I mean, the adoption sort of overarchingly, I think, is a beautiful, great thing. And, you know, I have 2 kids now, and it was a trip on so many levels because when we had our first son, it was the first person I'd met that was blood related to me. And this sort of being called a SYML came out of, and that being a Welsh word, I didn't know what my heritage was till much later in life. And I'd never really felt a giant pull to like chase any more information than I like sort of had, which was very limited about my birth family. And then I got like these papers essentially saying like you're like majority Welsh, and it became this piece of identity that I like had never really felt before. And again, didn't make me, you know, want to move to Wales and like try to track down people that I looked like or something. But it really like kind of gave me a sense of like, oh my gosh, like I'm actually from somewhere. But again, like adoption for me personally was the best thing to ever happen to me. Like, I'm sure I would have had a okay life, but who knows, like would I've like started be a musician? Like, would I've met any of these people that I like now know and love? Like, of course not. Like, that's all my family. And, yeah, so I mean, adoption's like, we can talk forever about adoption and stuff, but yeah,
I think that's really cool though, because a lot of people kind of like push it aside or don't talk about it. And,
well, it's scary and mysterious. And like, I think there's a lot of like, of that mystery and like fear and some of the sadness that kind of like maybe is rooted in some of that I like definitely love to write about and love to channel when I'm interpreting the world, definitely.
So how did you actually trace your heritage to Wales? Did you do one of those like DNA test things?
It was a little bit before the DNA tests like started becoming popular. No, so like my family essentially had papers like that were like, and it was crazy because back in the 80s adoptions were like pretty closed, and so kids couldn't really find out that much unless they went to the agency, and then the agency reached out to the birth parents and said okay. So I had some limited, which I have not done. I had these papers that were like oddly specific in terms of like your birth parent's mother's brother was like, these are his hobbies, and this was his height, and it was like all in this one like handwritten document, kind of giving me like a broad stroke view of like of who these people were. It was so weird. It was like reading a script for a movie or something, and characters or something in a script, and but part of that was the breakdown of their heritage and kind of where everybody was coming from. So again, strangely majority Welsh, which was really cool.
Yeah. That is also a language that is
bonkers,
borderline indecipherable.
It is crazy.
So how did you find this one Welsh word, and why does it like mean so much to you?
Well, again, I have to credit my wife for coming up with it. I am such like a like I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to like thinking of band names or whatever, and so she had a list of names, and SYML was on there. And she had kind of scoured like a Welsh dictionary essentially, like, and then maybe try to look up, random words to see what they sounded like in Welsh, what they looked like. And you're right, like the Welsh language is just crazy.
It's
it
just
looks
consonants
like
after consonants.
It looks like a elf language from a book. Yeah. Like, not to say anything mean about their language, but it's beautiful when spoken. Like, yes. It's all L's and W's and Y's, and it's this really sort of like, it's crazy that it comes out of just this really small pocket in the UK, and it's like just beautiful. Anyway, yeah.
That's so cool.
Sweet. So she picked it. I picked it off of a list that she had essentially.
Teamwork.
And I loved what it stood for too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you've got one more for us.
Yes.
That you kind of alluded to earlier. So tell us about the last song.
Yeah. So "Where's My Love" was the first song I ever wrote for SYML, and my wife calls it. I'm talking a lot about my wife. Love you, honey. Calls it the Grey's Anatomy song. This was before I even recorded it. Like, she was like, yeah, that Grey's Anatomy song, because I think it's sad and sort of sounds like Seattle and whatever. Yeah, so it was the first one, and it kind of set the tone for what was to come. And it was in this TV show, and people latched onto it immediately before I had any plan to release it or anything. And it was really the first time in my life that I saw a response like that. Like, people Shazamming it and finding me, just this random dude on the internet, demanding music. So it was a cool way to come into the project for sure. So yeah, this is "Where's My Love." My love, she hides away like a ghost. Ooh, does she know that we'll bleed the same? Ooh, don't wanna cry, but I break that way. Cold sheets. Oh, where's my love? I am searching high, I'm searching low in the night. Ooh, does she know that we bleed the same? Ooh, don't wanna cry, but I break that way. Did she run away? Did she run away? I don't know.
lot of fear. Oh, in my blood. She was carried up into the clouds high above. Ooh, if you bled, I'll bleed the same. Ooh, if you're scared, I'm on my way. Did she run away? Did you run away? I don't need to know. But if you ran away, come back home. Just come home.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here with us
Thank
today.
you so much for having me.
You sold out a show at Rockwood last night here in New York. You're headed to Boston on Sunday before heading back west.
Yes.
And then coming up early next year, a gig in Vancouver, a gig in London, hopefully new music.
Yes.
All that information is online. SYML, thank you so much for being here with us today, Brian.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.